Hey everybody, Chris Gill here. Today we are talking about EQ and how it is okay to break every single rule you have ever heard or read about online when it comes to using EQ. What am I talking about? Well, when I was first learning to use plugins specifically, and even some live sound consoles, some outboard gear, I heard all these rules. You'll get a better mix by high passing every track in your mix. You'll get a better mix if you never use any more than 3 dB of gain to boost or 6 dB of gain to cut. You should only ever cut. You should never boost. Subtractive EQ. Always use subtractive EQ. It's better than adding frequencies. You want to take away. So it's like, and by doing all these things, it really just kind of muddied the water for me. It's like I struggled for a long time. My mixes were sounding scooped because I was afraid to boost anything. When I started boosting things, I didn't think you needed to cut anything. So all of a sudden my mixes were sounding hyped and completely out of proportion. Whereas now I've discovered it's really a healthy balance of everything. And what prompted this video is I just got the new FabFilter Q3 EQ. I love it. It's fantastic. If you don't already have it, check it out. I promise you'll be in love after just a few minutes of using it. But what happened was I put this on a snare drum track that I'm mixing, and I was having to add a lot of gain to the high shelf to get my snare drum to sound the way I wanted. And there actually hit a point where it's like, mentally, I was telling myself, you don't need that much EQ. You don't need to gain that frequency up that much. And I had to take my hand and force it to add more gain to the track, right? And it occurred to me that this stems from all of these rules that I had drilled into my own head that don't really apply. They don't matter. What am I talking about? Sorry, that's my dogs. They're in here with me while I'm making this. So what am I talking about? Well, let's look at this snare drum track. So let's open the EQ that I have on this snare drum track. So if you were just to look at this curve, we're adding almost 9 dB of gain to this high shelf. That's insane. That's a crazy amount of gain. Well, let's listen to this snare drum track in context of the mix and see if it sounds out of place to you. Again, the lesson here is do not be afraid to use EQ to get the sound you need. If you were never supposed to use any more than 3 or 6 dB or whatever arbitrary numbers out there these days, plugin manufacturers, hardware manufacturers, plugin developers, hardware manufacturers wouldn't give you the ability to do more than a 3 dB move if you weren't supposed to do it. So again, use your experiences, use what you've learned to make the moves necessary to get the sound that you want. There are no rules when it comes to EQ. Now, you may make a move and it may not sound good, but part of that's just the learning process. So I'd encourage you, don't be afraid to really grab that EQ and make a drastic move to kind of see if it gets you in the right direction for the sound you're wanting to achieve. So again, my name's Chris Gill. If you found this helpful or you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.